Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, and I'm here with Tate Mathews. Tate, today is going to be something a little bit different. We're going to recap our 5 fall sports that have been completed, and we've got some going on right now, but they're not complete yet. It's going to be sort of a fall semester 21 review.
Well, that's a good thing to review because there's a lot of positive things to talk about from the fall sports of 2021. So very excited about it.
Well, we've got some state championships, right? Team and individual.
State championships, individual state championships, state runner-ups. What do you want?
Well, I want it all.
I know you do. I do think we're in the lead for the Director's Cup of school systems in the state of Tennessee. Well, maybe in the Southeast.
That's not really a competition, but if it were, we would be the about 10-time defending champion, wouldn't we?
Right. Didn't it used to be called the Sears Cup, and Stanford won it like every year? Yeah, because we're better in football than that, and basketball. But anyways, yeah. We're the Stanford of the Sears Cup right now in high school athletics.
I think it's now the Capital One Cup.
Oh, very good.
I think that's right.
Details, man. You're never one to be short on the details.
Got to have the details. Hey, let's talk about this before we do that, because we were both privileged enough to have an opportunity to have our game day set up, the Titans pregame. For those of you out there that may not know this, there's been a relationship that's been developed with the Tennessee Titans. We've talked about girls flag football in here. We're looking forward to that in the spring. But also, as part of that relationship, Dr. Qualls there at the EIC, Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center.
Very nice. That's tough to say, I think.
It's tough.
Yeah, okay. But you nailed it.
I taught a little CTE, so the word entrepreneurship just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, that's good. Very strong.
So anyway, the Titans have come in and they basically said, hey, CTE, EIC, Sports Conference, we also want to do a student-produced game when we play the Jaguars. So what's happened, and I give Dr. Qualls and his staff complete credit on this, and those EIC students who are part of that from all across the district, they've had these meetings every week with the Titans. We've had guys like Serv Melendez there, Nick Conklin. These guys are like creative types of people for the organization. But really, it started with the conversation, and I give him credit for allowing us to be part of this. The president, Burke Nihill, we had a meeting with him several weeks ago. In fact, it was back in the summer. Dr. Qualls and myself, and with Gil Beverly, who's a marketing guy there. Josh Corey has been part of some of this. Jenny DeLoach, who also works in marketing. And they basically said, let's do something where it's not one of those shadowing days. You've been a part of these as a business owner where really somebody comes in and they're kind of in your way.
Right.
You know, you're, okay, here's what I do, and then you're like looking at them and they're looking at you and you don't know what to do. Right. This is like a full-fledged relationship where these students were part of producing a game. The culmination was the game on Sunday. There was a tailgate area. We set up the game day desk. We were breaking new ground again. We were at the state football championships a couple weeks prior. We were at the golf state championship, and now the Titans pregame. So that was great. Now the golf was a Sports Connection show, but
Correct.
Still, you got to
breaking ground.
You got to be looking at ways to evolve.
Well, without a doubt, with technology and the things you can do now, and with what Lance and Creed and Heather doing here, you know, can take the show on the road. Pretty cool. Nobody really likes a rerun, right? Like,
no.
Unless it's Andy Griffith, you know. I mean, we want up to date current stuff. So yeah, I mean, in the location, you're sitting right outside of the, I don't know which end zone that is. It's the end zone closest to the Koreans Veteran Bridge, the interstate. And literally, you walk out of where you walk in, there's the road that runs right by the stadium, and it was right there. That's pretty prime property right there. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of people that would like to have a setup there. So point being, that's how serious the Titans took it. That was as close to the stadium as they could have put us without actually putting us right there by the ticket gate, which you know they can't do.
Well, and that atmosphere before the game was pretty neat for us. People were walking by that didn't know anything about WCS, and they were watching the show. And,
yes.
Hey, what's going on? The DJ Reggie Mason was there. We appreciate him for being involved in that. Brianna Hankins, who does such a great job with Summit Cheer. She rounded up 50 or so cheerleaders from across the district. They were a part of it. The Titans cheerleaders came out and they taught them a dance routine, and the music was playing. And listen, maybe the highlight of the whole thing, the Nolensville Band. What Benjamin Easley and the Nolensville Band is doing is pretty incredible.
Oh, he's a rock star. And I don't think we've been there for a game day yet since, we had the pandemic year, since you have taken over as the
We had the indoor event.
district. That's right, we did.
It rained.
That's right. Football game. That is one of the hypest DJ band game day experiences that I've been around. He's really good at what he does. And yeah, they were awesome. And then DJ Reggie Reg was playing a song, half of them I didn't know, and then the band is playing it with them, with the music on the
It's incredible.
on the turntable. It got me hyped up, man. It was a great atmosphere.
Well, what was cool, and the guy that takes care of the game day operations, his exact title escapes me, David Schindler. During the game, what they decided to do, it was like, okay, the Titans play this song every time they score a touchdown, and the Nolensville Band was going to add in and be a part of it and play along with it. They sent him a video of them learning the song. Benjamin had to write the music to it. They learned it. They sent it, and they're like, you guys are going to do it. And then I think there was one time during maybe like an injury where Mr. Schindler called down and basically said, all right, we're going to throw it to the Nolensville Band. The players were dancing. It was just, I'm telling you, it was great exposure for a lot of different programs. Again, shout out to the Titans and their leadership and Dr. Qualls and his group, because they hit a grand slam.
Hit a grand slam. They hit a grand slam. Dr. Qualls, as usual, I think one of the best things he does is he surrounds himself with good people to keep him straight, and none more so than Chris Snyder and Paula Chilton. They were both there. That's not part of their job. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I don't know what time they got up, but they got up early along with y'all. And so there were so many people that came and invested in that. And, and again, it's all about the young people. And the young people turned out, seeing the Franklin cheerleaders with the Brentwood cheerleaders and the Summit cheerleaders and the Indy cheerleaders dancing with the Titans cheerleaders. T-Rack was there. Did we have a pretty special guest show up?
Listen, when Amy Adams Strunk, the owner, comes down and she's part of it, and I was told later that her security detail was with her, and they kept checking on her because she was staying for such a long time. She loved it.
Yes.
And we had an opportunity to talk to her, and our message was, yeah, this is great, and there's going to be people that imitate it and emulate it across the NFL, and it was promoted as the NFL's largest student section.
What'd you call it? One
state,
section, one state?
One state, one section.
Love it.
But we told her there's only one team that can say they were first, and that's the Titans.
The Titans. Often imitated, seldom duplicated.
You think there's people out there that, see that and go, I'm so tired of these people.
Yes. I mean, enough is enough. Well, to put it this way, it's funny. We've talked about this. Those that don't know my wife, it's funny that she's married to me. She's really not a sports person. She cares about Jarrett and Jackson and Jenna Mathews athletics. She knows who Peyton Manning is because she went to UT. She has no idea who Andy Kelly or any of that is. So I told her Amy Adams Strunk came. She said, "Oh, is that a pretty big deal?" I said, "Honey, now I want you," and even me when I thought about it this way, I said, "Honey, she's one of 32 people in the world. There's only 31 others of her." And she took the time to come down and check it out, and could not have been more complimentary of y'all and what y'all did. It was awesome, man. And then, not to steal your thunder, but you kept telling me, I kept saying, where are the students going to be? Where are the students going to be? You kept saying, well, they're up top. They're up top. I thought you meant they were up by the lights. Go ahead and tell them about the setup. I couldn't believe that they did that for them.
Well, what happened, again, there's a lot to this now when you're talking about the NFL. The NFL, Titans had to get permission to put in some temporary seating up there. I guess it's was it Martin's Barbecues normally set up there?
Yeah, Logan's used to be there, but
yes, the opposite end zone that we talked about.
You walk up, so there's the sides, but on the end zones there's the lower bowl only, and then you got the walkway. It was on top of the walkway.
It was incredible.
It was first level.
I think there were 4 sets of bleachers maybe. We had the band up there, we had the cheerleaders up there, and then students from across the district. And then Brooks Taylor, who's one of our OTL students, and
Stud.
who's also an EIC student as well, he created some hype videos and commercials, and those were the videos that were shown during the day. So it was definitely a situation where it was full engagement, involvement from our students with the Titans, and we're looking forward to more opportunities, including girls flag football, which is coming up. And then you're going to see, I think maybe by the end of this week, there's going to be a promo video that's out where, again, representatives from the Titans came down and they did a video shoot with some young ladies across the district to promote girls flag football. So, hey, listen, we're only getting started.
Only getting started. And hey, I think we got to give a shout out to John Street, Mr. Street. The big dog was in the house on Sunday. John ordered in special Titans, Navy, Titan, Columbia blue, and red jackets for the three amigos up on stage. And not only that, he came and was there. He brought the big dog with him, Mr. Street, supported. You want to talk about guys that care about, obviously, Nolensville a little bit more than others. But you want to talk about guys that care about Wilco. And I got to shout this out, a little free plug for him. I did not know this. I had somebody ask me, said he needed to rent a suit, a black suit. I said, well, man, I don't know. I know they do tuxes, but so I called John, hey, do you do black suits? Yeah, we do black suits. So anyways, they're not only tuxes. You need a black suit or a suit, take care of Street Tuxedo because they take care of us. Big time.
Wilco Awards.
Wilco, come on.
They'll be there for that, man. It's incredible. Hey, and the shirts look great. Appreciate Mathews Team Sports stepping up with those Spirit Week shirts. They look great.
Spirit Week brought to you by Bunny Bread. I mean, it gets no better. And the sun was out. If you were on this side of the stadium, you were
roasted.
If you noticed any sun on our face, it was a beautiful day.
It's a great day. It was so exciting. We can't say it enough. And again, shout out, thank you, those EIC students, Dr. Qualls, the Titans. It was great. All right, Tate, let's talk a little recap here. So, team championships, as we were looking at this before, tell our audience about team championships, runners-up, and individual championships in this is only 5 sports, folks.
5 sports. Because that's all we've completed. Well, there's kind of a reoccurring theme here, but let's start with the team state championships. Brentwood boys golf, team state champions. Nolensville volleyball. I'm sure you'll dig a little deep into this, but first year in AAA, not sure how Coach Young and the Lady Knights are going to do, state champions. Page girls soccer, Coach Clapp, state championship. Brentwood girls cross country. I think that was the biggest secret of that was the biggest hot take of the fall semester. Do we think Brentwood's girls cross country going to win? Then we go to the team runner-up, Ravenwood girls golf team, Ravenwood volleyball, and then Chattanooga, the Blue Cross Bowl, 5A, 6A runner-ups, Page, Patriot football, and Summit football. Then, we're not done. Then we go to the individual state championships. Sophia DePaulo of Franklin, individual state champion. Junior. Second lowest score in the history of the tournament?
That's correct.
And then our man Miles Uramer of the Ravenwood Raptors cross country. So, in summary.
Sophomore.
He'll be back. In summary, golf, we had a first and a second and an individual. Volleyball, we had a first and a second. Cross country, we had a first and an individual. Soccer, we had a first, and then football, we had a runner-up and a runner-up.
It's incredible.
That's really, it really is.
And it's kind of fun there, too, if you talk about volleyball. Well, Ravenwood was runner-up because they lost to Nolensville, the champion.
Who came from Ravenwood.
So, they're doing okay. And we talked about this, too. The third best team in the state is Brentwood.
No question.
Couldn't get out of the district. Had to play, unfortunately, Nolensville in the semifinals, which we'll talk about.
Well, and then you look at the football, you know. I mean, no doubt about it, if whoever won that Summit Ravenwood game, and they're going in the quarters, that team's going to Cookeville, Chattanooga. I think whoever wins the Page Nolensville game, they're going to, so we had a lot of other ones that could have been there. They just got canceled out by, as we like to say, Wilco on Wilco crime.
So let's dig a little deeper on golf here. We'll start with golf. District tournament champions, Ravenwood girls, Franklin boys. And see, this goes to show you, Brentwood's boys win it all, but certainly Franklin's boys were good enough to win the whole thing too. They win the district tournament, but it was about who wins the region. Only one team goes on. So for you guys in these other sports, in particular basketball, where 4 teams go on from the district tournament, in golf, you got to win.
Got to win.
You don't win, you don't move on. So listen, that's not
You
easy.
can't win it if you're not there.
That's right. So at the region tournament, Ravenwood girls win again. Brentwood boys win. Of course, that leads to a state championship. Girls district champion and region champion and state champion, all by Miss DePaulo. Michael Hack from Ravenwood wins the district. Grant Clark from Page wins the region. Once we get to the state tournament, again, we had a show there, which was great. We appreciate Lance and Creed and Heather and this crew putting up with us and allowing us to do a live show or an on-site show, so to speak, which was a lot of fun. We got a lot of interesting and strange looks sitting out there on the deck at the golf course. But the Sevier Golf Club, that thing didn't disappoint either, did it?
No, I was going to say that. You know, so much has happened since we were there, and, you know, life goes on, and it's, you know, we're all so crazy busy. I'd kind of forgotten about that until you brought that up. And that was, you know, as excited and pleased as I was with the venue and the environment at Chattanooga for the Blue Cross Bowl, equally with what they did at the Sevier Golf Club. I can't wait. I hope we're going back. I can't wait to go back next year. I loved it. I thought it was great. Of course, you know, first year, and I heard you talking to some of the TSSAA administrators, some of your Wilco coaches, parents, what can they improve on? Of course, there's those improvements that they can make, but I thought it was great. Great setting. Don't care that it's in East Tennessee, right there in Pigeon Forge. I thought it was great.
You know, I credit TSSAA with being willing to change and do some things different. Golf, different location. Soccer, great location in Chattanooga. I don't think that'll ever move because it's played on the field of like I guess it's a minor league team or professional team up there. It's built for soccer. That's the lines that are on the fields.
It is a soccer field.
It's a soccer facility. Football moving. Cross country moved because it sort of had to because of the pandemic, and it's not gone back to steeplechase like I think it should and probably will eventually. And then volleyball remaining there in Murfreesboro. So I give them credit. And listen, there's going to be critics. Oh, it's different. When something's held somewhere for the first time, you can make some changes to it.
Yeah, well, and think about all the moving parts that went into the Titans production that you all did on Sunday. I mean, well, you got football, you got 9 teams. You know, golf, we got what, 4 divisions or 4 divisions. I mean, a lot of moving parts to that. I thought they did a great job with it. Hey, we're not above getting after the TSSAA on this show, but, you know, give credit where credit's due. I thought they did a great job.
Brentwood boys defeated Halls in golf by 2 strokes. Again, we talked about Sophia having the second lowest round in state history. And again, keeping in mind it's on a tough course.
Yeah, and think about all the rounds we're talking about here.
It's their second lowest total score.
Yeah,
What
think about all the rounds we're talking about. It's a lot of rounds.
A lot of rounds.
A lot of great golfers.
A lot of great golfers.
I mean, that's, yeah. And if memory serves me correct, we saw Coach Whipple on day 1, and I think, didn't she have like a really, really bad hole on day 1?
She had a quad bogey.
Yeah.
She took an 8 on a par 4.
Right. And Coach Whip, which I thought this was great. He's like, hey, man, what am I going to tell her about, you know, her swing and all that? But he was there, pulled her aside. Hey, you're good. She bounced back. So, you know, a really cool story.
Great story. Brentwood boys, first-year head coach. Chris Saunders, good job, Coach. First year, where do you go?
He didn't get the memo.
Where do you go from here? Did want to mention those players who competed at the state: Bryce Calloway, William Griggs, Sam Johnson, Grant Clunan, Troop Wallace. Again, if it wasn't them, it could have been Franklin. It could have been Ravenwood. But that's just the way it is in WCS.
Pretty cool. So 5 play, right? But there's obviously more than 5 on a golf team. Their teammates were there, walking the course, cheering with them with some of the parents. Really cool.
A lot of fun. Cross country, and look, I wanted to mention this because we haven't really included them in this total. As the viewers out there should know by now, we've joined TSSAA at the middle school level as well, which we're excited about. The first state championship, there are 5 different state championships during the year. Cross country, basketball, track, baseball, softball. So we've competed in 1 so far. Turned out pretty well. In the Class A division, Legacy wins the girls, Thompson Station wins the boys. In the the AA division, Woodland State runner-up, and then the Brentwood girls and boys win them both. So we won every team title. We had one of the runners-up. And then in the individual Class A, we have Larkin Johnson of Legacy, who wins the Class A. On the girls' side, Dylan Lookingbill of Legacy wins the boys' championship. And then a couple of runners-up, Thompson Station, Mr. Dylan Waringa was second. And then in the girls' AA, Leah Banavac was second. Her sister was actually third, which was kind of cool. And then on the boys' side, Keller Vaughn was second. So, again, excited about being part of that. Did pretty well there.
Well, we've had one sport, and we've got total domination in that one. So I know you were excited about joining the TWSAA. I don't know that the rest of the state was happy we were coming. But.
Well, I'll tell you this was a compliment. One of the district athletic directors from here in Middle Tennessee said, listen, you guys are already like the SEC or the ACC in terms of dominance. He said, you join TWSAA in middle school, it's over for the rest of us.
It's over in cross country.
Hey, let's talk about high school. At the region level, Brentwood's girls and boys won championships. Fairview boys and girls also won championships. We had some individual champions at the region level. Lydia Cromwell of Brentwood, Miles Raymer of Ravenwood, Alyssa Andrea of Fairview gets a championship. Unfortunately for her, she'd won back-to-back state championships. Falls a little short at the state this year, but it's been a great run by her. Listen, she's got another year or two. She's involved in some other sports. I know she's going to be playing flag football.
Yes.
So I did want to shout her out because it's a big deal. She won 2 in a row.
Oh, without a doubt, and then again was there again this year. So she's got her senior year to do it. Can you imagine? Well, it doesn't matter what she does from here on out. To be able to say you were a 2-time state champion in anything, in high school, that's unbelievable. And she's still got another year. So yeah, without a doubt.
At the state level, team champion, Brentwood. Now, I want you to explain this to our viewers here. They finished first with 75. You want a low score.
Correct.
Because every time you come in, whatever place you're in, that adds to your score. So
right.
If we finish top 4 or 5, we get 4 or 5 points and we don't. Anyway, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Correct.
Anyway, low score is really good. You want a low score. Tate, explain Farragut finishing 21 points behind Brentwood's girls. Would that be boat captain-esque?
I was going to say,
kind of deal?
The setup crew here never disappoints, but there should have been I'll tell you what it was. There should be a boat captain hat, a pair of sunglasses, and that might even be worthy of the corncob pie. That is a tail. As Coach Flatt would say, that's a tail kicking boys.
Hey, what about on the boys' side? I think this might be one too. We might have our first individual cross-country boat race. Miles Raymer comes in at 15:10:35, 9 seconds. Usually you see guys like, struggling and having to do 9 seconds. He could have moonwalked in.
He had time to drink a body armor, clip his fingernails, call his mom and tell her that he loved her, and put his joggers back on. That's how much time he had.
It's incredible. Incredible run. Again, like you said, I think the Brentwood cross country, that's one that, I went out on a limb early on and said, hey, I think they're going to do it. Turns out that they actually did. Hey, let's move to volleyball. We've already talked a little bit about volleyball. Nolensville wins the district and the region tournament. They move up to AAA. They had won back-to-back in AA, so they moved up to AAA, and oh, wait, they can't do it at that level. They're in the district with Brentwood and Ravenwood, and they're not going to be able to do it. Well, in the semifinals, they face off Ravenwood. Credit to them. They finished first in the league.
Right.
Happened right there at the end. So Brentwood and Nolensville have to play in the semis. Brentwood drops, I think they ended up 27-7, 3 straight sets to Nolensville. Pretty dominant performance by Nolensville. In our other district, now those 2 districts line up, Page and Independence. Page with the district championship. So it was an all-Wilco region semifinal. Nolensville and Ravenwood not only face off in the district final, they get a chance to face off in the region final. Nolensville wins them both. They both win their sectional or sub-state matches in pretty handily. 3-0 for Nolensville over Hillsboro, 3-1 for Ravenwood over Station Camp. And then we go to the state tournament. Pretty unconventional, Tate, what Nolensville did because they lost
right.
to start the tournament.
Yeah, lost to Cleveland in 5 sets in the first round. Then had to defeat Maryville, Hardin Valley, Collierville, and Cleveland, right? But the Hardin Valley, that one went to 4 sets too?
All but Hardin Valley.
All but Hardin Valley, yeah. So they all went to 4 sets.
That's right. So they were tired.
They were tired. They played a lot of volleyball in a couple of days is the point.
They did, and you look at Ravenwood on the other side, they come through the winners bracket. They get wins over Houston, Hardin Valley, and Cleveland. The last 2 are in straight sets.
Yeah.
So
Fresh legs.
You have Nolensville over here, they're going 4 sets with everybody except one opponent, and then Ravenwood's kind of the opposite. They play 1 less match, and 2 of them were straight setters. So the thought was, Ravenwood's going to step up and beat Nolensville, but I'm telling you, it was a dominant final by Nolensville. They win 25-14, 19, and 21, 3 straight sets. And for whatever reason, you feel like there's a little mental edge there, Nolensville over Ravenwood, because I think they beat them 5 out of 6 this year.
Yeah. Well, and there's familiarity too, right?
Sure.
They know them. So, yeah, man, I think there's so many cool stories about it. I think that, one, Coach Young, so happy for him. Yeah, they're good, but they're playing in A-AA. Okay, well, now they just came up 1 AAA, so we take care of that. And he's one of the great guys out there. Coach West, what she did at Ravenwood, getting there this year and then, getting to the final, winning the region. And then, I'm seeing it in some other school systems right now with some football coaching openings that are open. Not a lot of people want to follow somebody that was very successful. I don't think you can give Coach Cram enough credit for stepping up, taking over that program. There's a school system right now, they're having a hard time finding somebody to replace somebody who won 1 state championship. She replaced the GOAT and did a great job with it. So I think she deserves a lot of credit too, because not a lot of people would have stepped up and done that.
That's for sure. And, the challenge, I think, for Brentwood moving forward, when you start thinking about and looking at the youth on the Nolensville team, I mean, the MVP, Kara Knox, a freshman, had 13 kills in the championship match. They're really young. You kind of feel like they may be taking that over. Brentwood will have something to say about it. Ravenwood will have something to say about it. But the youth movement is also with Nolensville.
Oh, yeah. There's parity coming in volleyball and Wilco.
Let's talk a little soccer. I thought early on that Franklin had the shot to be the state champion, and it was a big win for Ravenwood. They beat Franklin 2-1 in double overtime in the district championship. And what did that do? That forced Franklin to go on the road to Nolensville, who had defeated Independence in that other district. So now you got a little bit tougher matchup. No disrespect to Independence, but I think Franklin or Ravenwood, either one, would have won that match. Nolensville had been defeated they had defeated Ravenwood during the year. So it was one of those deals for Franklin. Double OT, that's a heartbreaker to lose, but guess what else we've got to do? We've got to go to Nolensville. The fabulous freshman, Madeline Podelsky, gets a couple of goals in the district final, does the same thing there in the tournament against Franklin. So now Franklin's out. You got a Nolensville Ravenwood matchup. Ravenwood says, not so fast. We've won 2 straight state titles. You got to go through us. They get a 1-0 win over Nolensville in the championship. Gracie Hill with that goal. And then you look at AA. Page, Central Magnet, they'd split in the regular season, and they get that win in the regional final. End up getting to face them again later as well.
Yep.
But they just cruised in the sectional. 4-0 win to qualify for the state. Ravenwood goes to Hendersonville, 2-0 win. Nolensville over Station Camp, 2-1. And it's interesting to me, Tate, you'll know more about this than me because you've been here longer. I feel like that side of the county, you're talking about Sumner County, or of Middle Tennessee, Hendersonville, and what Coach Plummer did they were every bit as good as the teams in WCS.
Oh, yeah.
Those teams are behind right now.
They've fallen behind, and maybe part of it is because Coach isn't there anymore.
And
the other thing
Station Camps.
The emergence of Station Camp, I think, is the biggest part. And they've won 2 since Coach Cook's gone over there. So Two things. Yeah, I think it's that, and then the station camp, and you know, this is just like everything else. This is the place to be. So, but yes, when you're talking women's soccer in the mid-state, you get outside of Wilco, you're talking Hendersonville, station camp, Clarksville, maybe every once in a while throw a Rossview in there, but those are the two. And you know, it used to be you would hope to get one out of those sectional games, and now we get both of them.
In the state tournament, Ravenwood defeated Franklin County 3-1 before losing to Houston in the semifinals 2-0. It snapped back to back-to-back state titles by Ravenwood. Nolensville, tough draw. They lose 5-0 to eventual state champion Bearden in the first round. And then on the Page side, it was so exciting for Page. In fact, this week's gym, the first team championship for Page other than volleyball. Coach Clapp and his teams, boys and girls, they've been knocking on the door. But they blow it down this year. 4-1 over Signal Mountain in the first round. And really the semifinals I thought was the one.
I think so too.
The winner of that was going to win it. They get a win over Greenville 1-0, get a late goal. And then in that final, they go down early 1-0 before Emerson Ladd ties that match 1-1 with Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Again, the fourth time they had played. And then from there, it was pretty much dominance. They extend the lead all the way to 4-1 before Murfreesboro Central Magnet scores a goal late. But 4-2, and it felt really, really, really dominant.
It was. And, yeah, so glad to see them finally knock that door down. And Coach Clapp's been there a long time now. So, been close, put a lot of time into that soccer program, both the boys and the girls. And so very happy to see him do that. But you're right. One on the Nolensville side. Bearden, in my opinion, in girls soccer was kind of the Brentwood ladies cross country. They were going to win. There was going to have to be something out of the ordinary happen for Bearden not to win. So no shame in losing to them. And then Page, that Greenville semifinal match. That was the state championship in AAA.
You wonder if for Page, and you kind of feel this just in athletics in general. Look at their, we're going to talk about football here in just a second. They had never been past the semifinals in football, and they're a player or two away from winning that football state championship. It may be like that thing we talk about with the olives, right? You got the bottle of olives, and the old Mr. Cardwell. It's kind of hard to get them, but when you get that first one out, they just flow.
Much easier. I hope you're right.
So you just feel like, with Dr. Hill, what she's doing out there, does a great job. Obviously, Coach Randy Hatley and that whole administrative team, it's got a good feel about it.
Yeah.
With Page.
Yeah. There is a key. Stay in 5A.
Yes. No question. No question. That's true.
6A's, that's a little bit different. They'd have been fine, but getting there is, oof. But if they can stay in 5A, yeah, I think they're going to get one.
Let's talk about that. So the final sport we're going to talk about, and I know we talked about it quite a bit last week, but we still want to hit some highlights again. Page makes it all the way to the championship with a 42-34 loss to Knoxville Powell. I think the big story that we talked about last week, they go down 21-0. They get it all the way back to 21-20. And then late in the game, they get a score. They recover an onside kick, sort of like they did in that semifinal against Henry County. But then they just fall short. Last second pass from Jake McNamara falls incomplete. But I think as you look at this Page run, there's a couple things that stand out to me. The never giving up. They had a couple games that they were down and out, or it seemed like they were. One, that semifinal against Henry County, which is going to go down in history, not only at Page, but really throughout Middle Tennessee, to get that 56-52 win. And you mentioned it earlier, that second round matchup with Nolensville. The winner of that game was going to represent WCS in the final. In fact, that next round against Green Hill, Nolensville would have rolled them too.
No doubt about it. And I saw where the Tennessean named the Page-Henry County game the postseason playoff game of the year in all divisions, all of them. Right, yeah. Captain Obvious. But it was, man. You think about it, of all the games across the state, that was the one. So, yeah, never gave up. We were there. Not only did they get down 21-0, it happened so
It did.
fast. Never gave up. Had a chance to tie it up well, they could have tied it up going into the half. They chose not to, went for the 2-point conversion. That didn't have any outcome on the game. They still had a chance, but never gave up and got beat by a really good football team. I don't know how many times Summit can beat Oakland, and that's no knock on Summit. That's just how good Oakland is. But, I think if you play 10 times, Page wins a good amount of those.
Talking about their path again before we move on to Summit, first round they defeat Wilson Central. Second round we mentioned the matchup with Nolensville, quarterfinals over Green Hill, and then the semifinals, Henry County Championship, Knoxville Powell. Summit, third straight year in the championship, much like our friends over at Nolensville. The question was, hey, listen, they won it in 5A, but they're moving up in 6A. Can they do it? Well, they made it all the way to the championship game, and as you mentioned, that's no joke when you're talking about going through that gauntlet of 6A. I think the matchup that really stands out to me, they got the semifinal win at Hendersonville 28-7, but that quarterfinal shootout with Ravenwood, which I think maybe is a peek into the future. As you look kind of forward in 6A, you look at what Ravenwood has coming back. It'll be the second year back with Coach Hester. I think they're the team to beat, and in that quarterfinal game, Ravenwood played great. And what happens? They get beat 48-28, and earlier in the year it was 49-28. So the score was almost identical, and you felt like Ravenwood played about as well as they could play, but just Summit was just so dominant all the way until that championship game.
Yeah, they were. That's what's funny, the matchups. We talk all the time about the matchups. So Ravenwood, obviously, because they did it twice, gave the Summit defense maybe a little bit more of a matchup problem on offense because, the amount of points they can score and how quickly. The bad thing about that is you keep giving the ball back to maybe the best offense in the state. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool to watch those two. I think, but then Brentwood, in a way you can say Brentwood played Summit as well as Ravenwood did too. It was just different. So,
right.
You get to Hendersonville, and much respect for Coach Beasley and that program, but that was never really a game. Yeah, it was. And there was so much talk about having to go through Memphis. And really, it was what it usually is. You had to go through Wilco again. That's
right.
What was going to be the roadblock. And
then you talk about that first round. Ravenwood goes on the road and gets a big win. Summit 27-7 over Houston, a really good Houston team. That second round matchup you talked about, it was 27-14 in the regular season against Brentwood. Again, tough matchup, and Brentwood had some injuries.
Right. They weren't at full. They didn't have all their bullets.
21-3, so that was for whatever reason. You talk about the defense, that was something that was an interesting matchup. And then again, the quarterfinals over Ravenwood, semis over Hendersonville, and then that matchup with Oakland. And it was funny, I saw Coach Coleman at the Titans game, in fact. And, he was still kind of smarting from that runner-up finish. He really wanted a championship, but I'm telling you, and it's like I told Coach, and I say it all the time, listen, you shoot for the stars, and sometimes you fall into the clouds, and that's okay too.
Well, let's think about it this way. I think I'm right on this. It's a 3-year run. They play. What's the most in 3 years? The last 3 years. What's the most amount of games you can
45.
play? 45. They won 41 of them.
It's incredible. 2 of them in the final. They lose 2 in the final.
2 in the final.
Pretty special run. I also wanted to mention, to finish up football, we had 3 Mr. Football semifinalists, Destin and Keaton Wade from Summit, Jake McNamara from Page. Then finalist ended up being Destin and Keaton, and then Mr. Football winner, which I think was correct.
Yes.
Destin Wade from Summit High School, so congratulations to him. What a big deal. Looking forward to, and waiting for the ink to go on the paper though, Tate. Looking forward to Destin and Keaton signing to go next
BBN.
level. It's looking that way. Unless something really surprising
Well, you
happens.
dodged a major bullet when Coach Stoops stayed.
Yes.
Okay. You dodged a major bullet with that. But yes, I think you're good to go on the BBN. There'll be a lot more Kentucky fans down here than just you. Let me rephrase that. There'll be a lot more Kentucky football fans down here than just you after they sign. And really happy for them. Congratulations. First of all, I don't think there's ever been a brother, two brothers that were finalists for Mr. Football again. So happy for Destin. Well-deserved, man. And then Jake McNamara with Paige. Congratulations to him. We've talked about this on the show. Last year, I think Destin was a victim of this. They vote so early on this thing. Jake got penalized. Don't worry about that, man. It happened to Destin last year. Doesn't matter. You had a great career. You're a Mr. Football Finals. That's all that really matters. I think if that thing's voted on at the end, last week, I think Jake probably wins that thing too. We've got two. I think Destin was going, they got it right. Destin would have won it at the end of the year anyways. Jake got a little bit penalized on that. And he can take some consolation in that he is the Mike Bobo Quarterback of the Year recipient. So
What else do you need?
that's a pretty big deal.
Is he at Auburn?
I think he's working as a consultant with Butch at Ark State.
Hey, before we finish up, listen, this is our last Sports Connection of 2021. We'll be back in January. We want to do sort of a recap. Do want to remind you, we've got some great events. I know Mathews Team Sports and Adidas involved at the King of the Hill boys basketball tournament at Summit High School. Coach Fay got a nice lineup there. And then,
He does have a nice lineup.
Hey, and in wrestling, we've got the Wilco Wrestling Duels. Coach Tomlinson got that thing rolling out over at Franklin. So some great events right after Christmas. I know you're going to be on vacation. You're going to have family in town, but get out and support these athletes during the break too.
Without a doubt. Hey, you got enough time on your hands to get out there and see them. So neither one of those events will disappoint. And plus it'll keep you fresh, so you'll know what's coming up once the Sports Connection starts back. You gotta kind of know what's going on.
Mr. Cook he better still be watching.
There's no doubt. Hey, by the way, I saw where the offers are starting to pick up for him. So congratulations to him.
No doubt.
Cooper, that is.
Cooper, right. And the Cook family, the whole family. They're all
The whole family.
looking forward to them still being a part of this thing. Tate, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope you enjoy the holiday and the time off, the little time that you will have off.
You as well, my friend. Can't wait to get in here and start talking basketball and wrestling. It's going to be fun, man.
And before we know it,
congratulations as the district athletic director on a very successful fall.
well, I appreciate that. And you always say this, we're going to blink and it's going to be spring fling time, which is going to be fun too.
Always.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection, and we'll see you next time.